Hello guys, Almost Addicted here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build a Viking house. Now this could be some kind of a Viking kind of mead hall or huge mansion of some form. Now the Vikings didn't live in anything like this whatsoever, but this is more extravagant kind of fantasy sort of Viking style. I'm trying to make it a bit more pleasing to people, and it's yeah, I'm just going to kind of go through the steps and show you how I made this build. Now, I'll give you the main foundation, I'll tell you how it's built, the main foundation with all the blocks that you will need, and it's kind of up to your interpretation. So when I use blocks, because I'm using the Conquest texture pack, so when I'm using kind of like a green concrete block, which looks like stone in the Conquest, I can't even speak. You would use something like a cobblestone, so you're just going to have to use a bit of your initiative to be able to create this house. So it's not all block for block because it's too big. It took me about 5 hours to make, so yeah, and that's using World Edit. So I was trying to get it perfectly right, trying to use like different kind of styles, I guess. And when it comes to like the top peaks and stuff where it's got like dragons coming out, obviously I can't explain all that. It's like loads of stairs and kind of blocks, so you're gonna have to do a lot of experimentation. Now if you don't like videos like that, I suggest you go and watch one of my videos that I've done on medieval houses, because I've done block for block tutorials on that. I am not doing a block for block tutorial on this. I couldn't do it. It'd be impossible for me to recreate it because I seriously can't remember, because I put that much detail into it. But hopefully you definitely get some inspiration from this build, and that's what I'm hoping. So without further ado, let's build this awesome Viking kind of temple, I guess. So yeah, make sure you slap a like on the video, it really does help me out, and a comment down below, and I will definitely do more houses like this. I'm going to be doing some more block for block tutorials very soon, but I was kind of yeah, just got a bit inspired by some Viking things, so I thought I would build this. So yeah, blah 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 blah. Yeah. Okay, so I started off with the 5 gaps in between using some of the green concrete. Now the green concrete, as you can see, looks like a stone, so you could use it maybe a stone brick or a cobblestone, and I'm using some of the jungle kind of wood, so you could do that as well. So this has got 5 gaps in between as well. And the next one, we're going to have 7 gaps in between. As you can see, you can experiment and add little bits of detail on the wall, but I decided to just keep it plain for now, and then I can always add to it a little bit later. So here, as you can see, I've got a little bit of the depth in there, as you can see. I can't stop saying that. And then yeah, so it's like 5 gaps, 5 gaps, 7 gaps, and then what I did here is I got 11 gaps. Now I left this open because I was going to put an open archway to enter into the Viking temple or Viking area. Now these logs are up by, I think it's 5 or something like that. Now on this other side, exactly the same, so 7 gaps in between there, 5 gaps in between there, and we've got those logs coming up like this. Perfect. Now for the curvature of the building, I wanted it to have like kind of like a squish circle oblong. Is it an oblong? I don't know my shapes. I just build these things from my mind, you know. So now we're going to go diagonal. We're going to count 1 2 3, and then 1 2 1 2 1, and then 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 across this middle bit. And then we're going to repeat the same pattern. So 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 1 2 1 2 1 2 3, and then we're going to carry on exactly the same as what we've done with the other wall on the other side. We're going to repeat it. So it's yeah, I'm trying to keep it symmetrical, like I do the front and the back exactly the same, just so it doesn't confuse people. You can always change the back of the building, but I kind of wanted to keep it the same, because quite a lot of Viking buildings are the same for the front and the back. And as you can see here, I'm just doing it exactly the same. So we've got a big kind of squished circle, and then this is the part where I was a bit confused where I was going to put the logs for, do you know, when it's kind of curving around the corner, because I wanted to turn them into windows. Now when we go up later in the build, and we're going to have windows on those 5 bits, it's going to be easy. But these bits here, so I'm just going to go around slowly, as you can see here. So 1 2 1 2, and then we're going to place a log, and then we should have 3, and then we'll place a log just at the side there, and then we're going to have 2 lots of rows, and then either side of the 5 that we've got here, we've got 2 logs at the side, and then just repeating it for the same. And we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. I just want to make sure that you guys have at least got the template for the very bottom of the build. It's going to get a lot more complex later on. It's going to be a lot more harder to follow along. So just watch the video first, see if you could maybe get something from this, because you're not going to be able to follow this and build it exactly, because it's going to be quite difficult, because it's such a large build and there's a lot of complex, you know, designs to it. So now I'm going to raise them up a little bit higher, and I think this is the Oak in the Conquest texture pack, so it kind of resembles spruce maybe. So I've got the stairs going all the way around it, and then I'm bringing these up by an extra 5 height, and then I think this is the acacia, so it's kind of like a brownie spruce, so you could maybe use spruce for this, and I'm just filling it all in blank for now. Now I'm going to be taking windows out, but this is how I like to build when I'm on my own, and this wasn't going to be a tutorial, so this was just me building as I normally do. I like to build it all as kind of like a blank canvas, like you're painting, and then you can start adding paint to it or taking away areas. So here I decided to get some mud or dirt or grass even, and then I put the trapdoors on. Now that looks exactly like the spruce trapdoors, doesn't it? So you could just put your little areas in here. It's just so we can keep plants and things like that. And I've got it on every single window, so we're going to have a 7 window there, 5 window, exactly the same going all the way around, and then maybe you could put some logs sticking out on different areas just to add a little bit more detail. And over these windows, now what I've used here is the pistons. I'll just get up close so you can see. With the pistons, it's got like little grooves, and it makes it perfect for like little windows, and the same in the default texture pack. And then just above it, we're going to be using oak, so it's kind of like it's got a nice little windowsill, and I'm going to do that all the way around. Even on these corner pieces, I had to try and find out a good way to make corner windows. Now it's quite difficult, so you're going to have to experiment a little bit. And what I did here is I just kind of put 2 windows, and from the inside, when it didn't work and I didn't have symmetrical windows, I built the walls up, so it kind of made it look a little bit more rounder, a little bit better. And then I just got some gate posts as well, and then just put them on the front of it. And yeah, I used some red stained glass, but I would probably stick with some white stained glass or something if in the default texture pack. That would work perfectly. And at the moment it's kind of looking like a bit of a coliseum, but you get the idea of what I'm going for. Now you can make your windows completely different. Now I've done a little archway here, so you can kind of figure out how to do a little archway. Count 3 up, diagonal 1, 5 across the top, 3 down kind of thing. And then I'm just building a structure that's coming out because I wanted a big roof coming out. Now you can put pillared supports coming down like this, and I'm going to raise up the very middle of the building. And I kind of wanted like circular roofs curling into this middle area, so I'm just boxing it off. I think it's about 11 height or something like that. Those bits at the front that are overhanging, I think I put them out by about 7. So you've got like big structures kind of holding it up. Imagine it's like a balcony at either side, and we've got a box on top. Now the box starts from like the 7th window, the window with 7. So now I'm getting a darker wood. I think this is a spruce in the Conquest, but obviously you could use some dark oak or something like that, or you could use a different block completely. And I'm just curling it round and slowly curling it round and bringing it up gradually. I decided to go down a little area. This is going to be a lot of experimentation when it comes to the roof. I had no clue what I was doing. I was just kind of focusing on getting a half circle and bringing that half circle in each time, and then I double it up so it kind of like it planes up. So instead of just going like round once and then up, round again, I kind of did round once and then double layered it and then go up and then round once, so it kind of makes the roof seem like it flows up a little bit better. Now I did a little roof coming out here because I kind of wanted one of those Viking roofs sticking out with a little bit of a balcony on top of this roof. Now I'm doing one side, but the other side I'm going to world edit it and copy it exactly the same. So what you're doing here, you do the same at the other side. So I'm getting some of those logs and sticking them into the roof, kind of like it's roof supports and things like that. Now, if you don't like this sort of design, you don't have to do it like that, but I tried to make it quite organic as well. And now I've got the oak, and I'm just putting the stairs in different patterns just to try and make little dragon heads, or you could have like curly patterns coming out, and they're just going on top of the oak logs that we've got there as supports. And it's just to kind of give it that sort of Viking feel. Viking roofs are quite fancy and stuff like that. Well, the ones that you see from fantasy builds. So yeah, and then next I worked on it so it went exactly the same, and I wanted to work on this little side roof here. Now I'm adding the oak, and I'm doing exactly the same with the pistons. So I'm using it for little windows. Obviously we're going to have a doorway to get out onto the balcony, but you can choose to do your windows whichever way that you think looks best to you. But yeah, I've got the oak logs sticking out as well. Now I put those oak logs out because I was going to put some grass blocks on there as well, and then we could put some trapdoors around it so you can keep some plants and stuff, and it makes it feel quite nice. So the roof is going to be stair block, just a typical high roof, and I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. So I'm getting two buildings, and they're kind of like I think there's about 11 gaps in between. It's probably a bit more, and then bring them all joining together. Now this small roof will fit into the bigger roof that you'll see later on, because the bigger roof's going to connect into these smaller off pieces. As you can see here, I've done kind of like little details by putting stairs going out, so it kind of makes the roof look a little bit more interesting. It's just by placing a stair on the stairs, and it just kind of looks cool like that. Now I've used a little bit of a brick, but you could use some white wool here for those little stripes going down with the logs, and you can decorate it however you choose. I've got little bits of the oak sticking out as well, so it kind of gives it a little bit more detail. And then I just world edited it exactly the same on the other side. And that's when we can get the big roof that connects into these smaller roofs. Now I'll get a little bit of a close-up so you can kind of see what I've done here. I'm not going to leave you completely high and dry so you don't know what's going on, but as you can see here, we've got some nice little kind of details. It's just little stairs in different kind of combinations. You can work out whichever combination works best for you, or whichever you feel looks the best. So yeah. Now world edited it so it's going exactly the same on the other side, and you'll see what I mean when it comes to the bigger roof. Now because it's a lot wider in the very center, we can then build it round, and the bigger roof will be a lot higher than the two roofs at the side because of the thickness in the middle. So long as that middle piece is a lot bigger, you're going to have a higher roof. And we can always add more detail to it later. Kept it really plain, and then later on I added like extra windows, extra little kind of like shelves coming out the roof, and some chimneys coming up as well. So doing the same design, but this time on the inside I'm putting some stairs kind of locking into it, so it gives more detail as well, and stairs on the outside. So I'm doing stairs on the outside, stairs on the inside, and it kind of gives it that sort of fancy pattern design on the roof, which I think worked really well. And then I did like a dragon's head at the top. I'll just slowly go around here so you can kind of see what I mean. But yeah, it's just stairs in different kind of ways, and then a little dragon, a little kind of dragon head. I thought it looked alright. So we're going to be copying and pasting this on the other side, so I'm just going to be focusing on one side so I don't confuse anybody. Now I wanted another roof sticking out from here, but this roof are kind of on some Viking houses, they have like a pointed roof and it's like pointing forward. So we're just bringing some of these blocks, and it's kind of like you're trying to make your roof go in a diagonal pattern. And then we've got another dragon head, as you can see. This is more like a rooster or something like that, like a cock-a-doodle-doo or whatever. But yeah, you can make your windows however you choose. I just chose to do something a little bit like this, using the same blocks that we've been using. You can kind of change up your color palettes just so it doesn't feel all like brown. There's a little bit of color in here. Now this is where it's just extreme detail of different stair patterns in different areas coming down. I'll get a close-up of it so you can kind of see, but I'm just kind of putting stair patterns in whichever way I feel like it gives a royal sort of grand entrance. You want something quite royal. I'm putting some stairs underneath our balconies, and then getting some slabs going underneath, holding it as support and things like that. But I'll get a nice close-up so you can kind of see, but I'm adding lots of detail. Now I wanted to keep a lot of the walls plain because there's so much detail in the middle. You want to kind of have some walls that are very plain, so I'm using the same bricks or blocks that I did down there to kind of bring out a little bit of the wood on the top. You'll see what I mean when I start filling it all in. I'm using a different wood for the very front. You can add some lights and stuff, but I did use the red and adding some flowers in there and stuff just to give it more detail. And yeah, just the stone roof at the top. I'll just get a little close up here. Look at all the stair patterns just in different areas. So long as you've got stairs that are like poking out of the building, it always looks kind of Viking. And I urge you to attempt this style. It's quite fun, and you can't really go wrong really. You just gotta keep experimenting with it. And as you can see, we've got some open space. I'm just gonna fill it all in with stone, bring some of the logs going up. Now as I normally do, just fill it all in with stone, and then you can remove some blocks after. I just feel it's a lot more easier when creating. Now I wanted some archways here because I felt those walls were a little bit too plain, so I did use some of the dark wood. I think this is actually the dark oak there, so it kind of looks like dark recesses, gives it more depth into the build, and some windows on top as well. I just think it's got that really kind of rustic cool look to it. Really does make it stand out like a proper Viking build. And as you can see, the smaller build, the smaller roof coming off it, I did put some more stairs there. At the bottom I added bush, I added some fences going around, I added some of the red flowers down there, so it's kind of like got a bit of a garden. I'll go down so you can kind of see, but we've got a little garden area with red flowers. We've got double fences with the half slab going over it, and then I copy and paste it to the other side because yeah, a lot of Viking houses do look like that. They're like quite symmetrical. So as you can see, we've got that, and then we are on to adding the extra details in. Now it's entirely up to you. I just wanted to take some of the roof out, get some logs going up there with some of the cobblestone wall on it, because it looked very plain and I wanted to add something to it, but not too much that it was too busy. So we've got that. I'm going to do it both at the other side, and now at the top here it's quite plain there, isn't it? So maybe you could do a little archway there and then put a roof on there and then add another roof on the lower area. So it's, as you can see, you're building it up and you're adding more designs. You're adding stairs coming out in different areas. You can add little bits of chimneys coming out in different areas. I've got a chimney down the side wall because I thought that side wall was a little bit plain. And just doing the same here, putting some of the anvils on top of it just to make it look like it's got an actual chimney. But I think it worked out really well. And if you ever do have any blank spaces, you can always have chimneys coming out from that area. You could always put a window there. You just got to experiment. Something like this, yeah, I just kind of freestyled it, went with the flow of it. This is actually modelled off, if you've ever played For Honor. And you know, the Viking building from that. So yeah, hopefully you got some inspiration, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Almost Addicted signing out. I hope you enjoyed this one. It's a little bit of a different one, I do realise. Probably going to get a lot of people that didn't really enjoy it, but they still watched it for some reason. I don't know what's going on with those people, to be honest. But yeah. And if you want to check out some of my editing and stuff like that, I do a little bit of photo editing on Instagram. Instagram is Pixel Vanity. I'll put it down in the description. I edit photos for models and stuff, so I really enjoy that as well. So that's not the only creative thing I do. I do Minecraft and that as well. So yeah, if you want to check that out, make sure you do, and I shall catch you in the next video. Whatever Vikings do. I don't know. Catch you later. Bye.